technology is the most powerful change in the world of education. Welcome to the video interview series, Augmented Reality-Based Technology in the Classroom, delivered to you by Clever Books Company. We continue our podcast interview, Augmented Reality in Education, and today we have David with us. Hello, David.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. Well, thank you very much for joining us for the podcast interview today. And I will be glad if you can introduce yourself to our listeners and viewers, tell a little bit about yourself, and then we'll continue to the discussion about the augmented reality in education, and I would be absolutely glad to hear your professional opinion.
Yeah, my name is David Talbert. I'm the Head of Technology Integration and Technology Head of Technology Integration at Dubai British School, Jumeriah Park. I'm in charge of integrating technology across the whole school. I'm also in charge of exams, data management, and just creating innovation throughout the whole school.
Well, that sounds like you will be exactly the right person to share the opinion of how immersive technologies do change the kids' learning and what their role are in education.
Yes.
So great. Then how about we jump straight away to the topic to share your opinion about augmented reality technology. And first, I would like to understand how you got exposed to augmented reality solutions that are out there now. What was your first experience?
My first experience of augmented reality, I think just using, I've got these merged cubes, and you can use the iPads and you can visualize, and you put the iPad camera on, you can augment it, like hold the heart in your hand, and you just use different things. So I think it's through a wide variety of technology, even throughout my time as a avid game player, and using headsets, and you can use them and use technology in, and seeing how augmented reality is used, using technology as it is, like iPads, and taking a picture or pinpointing something, and you can just walk and move around it. Like I said, there's this whole variety of things. I can't really pinpoint when exactly I used it, but I've used it quite a lot recently in education as something that I wanted to look into, especially this academic year, of integrating technology, VR and AR into education.
And what is your personal opinion about the augmented reality solutions that are out there? How do you see the industry actually evolving and coming specifically to target the education sector to change the way kids learn?
I think the difference, especially with AR compared to VR, is that you can actually have it in front of you and see it right on top of your desk, and compared to VR, you're going through the whole headset thing. It's more immersive, whereas if something like an AR, you having an object physical, like having a physical object, you could be holding it in your hand. Like I said, we've made these things like these little cubes, and you can have the different types of elements, and you have it holding in your hand, so the students hold the element in their hand, or they actually hold the t-shirt, or say, for example, holding the pieces of paper, and they can have the globe, the country of Africa on there. And you can see all the animals moving, and have the paper, and you just think you're visualizing it right in front of you, and it's just around in your whole environment you have right there. So it's that interaction, having that added interaction, but not having the need to wear something on your face.
So I guess there's a still link between the teachers and the kids, and they're not prevented through these classes.
Exactly, because then the teacher can still interact with them. They just, with the VR headsets, you are in your own world, and you're immersed. Whereas AR, you can still have that lesson, you can still interact with that teacher, you can still communicate, you can still learn, because it usually could be a piece of paper, it could be an actual object, and you're using a device to project that augmented reality image or video, and still have your lesson and still interact with everyone.
And what was your most fascinating experience with bringing augmented reality to the classroom that was most memorable for you?
One of the best ones we got these AR t-shirts, and students put them on. So we had our year 2 students try the AR So we used the clever books, and we had some merge cubes. And the T-shirts were great because they put the T-shirt on, and then a student will come in front of them, hold the iPad in front of their body, and using the app they can see inside the human body. So it felt like the child was, you see inside another child's body and see their heart moving and like pounding, and see all the different parts of the body, and you can zoom into the different parts of like the body, the liver and the heart, and then you can see all the bits in the body. And they were just fascinated, seeing their faces going, wow, this is so cool. And then they're learning from it as well. And these are little young children, and they're learning about different parts of the body, how it works, and interaction, how the blood flows through the human heart, and how oxygen, what stuff goes through it. And it's just fascinating. Seeing their faces was great.
How did the teachers react when you proposed to bring augmented reality technology as part of the supplementary to the curriculum?
Teachers, they need to see it. When they start seeing it, they go, wow, this is great. And then they start coming up with their ideas, and they just want to use the technology. I think they want to find ways of engaging their students and adding innovative ways of teaching them as well, and getting them immersed into the whole technology education and get them used to it. So when I introduced the T-shirts, and also like the cubes and the clever books, and just going through that and just saying, okay, look, have a look at this stuff, they were just like, wow, this is great. How is this happening? And they're more fascinated about seeing how it works, and how is it possible. And you're describing the technology and everything used, and how they can use it in their lessons. And then they start coming up with ideas because they want to use it in their lessons. So that's great, because it just creates more ideas, and it's great to see teachers wanting to use things and try things out and be innovative.
Absolutely. And if you talk about your personal opinion of the benefits that augmented reality technology has on kids' learning, and also the input it has for the classroom environment in general, what would you point out at?
It adds an extra element to the learning, to the environment. So say, for example, when we looked at the maths sheet that we tested out, we looked at different types of shapes, and having that piece of paper, and as the children actually looking at the different sides of the shapes and interacted with it, it adds that extra element. You can do something or write something on the board, but actually students actually playing around with it and seeing it, and actually, like say, someone count how many sides there are of an actual triangle, and actually seeing it in 3D, and then doing it like a pyramid size and everything else. And it's having that extra element in there, and that interactivity, and reinforcing what the teacher is teaching, and takes it to the next level, which is really good.
I know that many schools are trying to use immersive technologies, but some schools are also a little bit reluctant to bringing technology in. What is your opinion? What actually influenced the decision of educators or the school in general to bring something like this, like augmented reality, to the classroom?
For me, it's when you look at, especially in Dubai, one of the big things they're trying to push is innovation. Okay. So finding innovative ways of doing things, doing things like normal things that we do, but in an innovative way. For me, it's more about getting this sort of technology into the classroom, but also helping the students to educate themselves and moving away from relying on the teacher. So when they're using augmented reality, it's taking students to a different place, taking a different approach to learning about the human body, learning about shapes and mathematics, and trying new and innovative ways of doing things. And that's a big thing. So influences from education, so education boards, so from us to KHDA and the Ministry of Education over here, that big push of innovation is coming from there. So those influences. But also for myself, I mean, I push things as a member of senior management, is pushing those sort of things. I want teachers to be innovative, move away from the conventional classroom of standing in the front of the classroom and teaching a normal lesson, to actually teaching a lesson where you are not in front of them, you're around them. They're also just saying, here, have this, play around with this, come up with some ideas. What did you come up with? And taking different approaches to things.
Absolutely. It's something that is inevitable. The technology is evolving and it's changing so rapidly. So augmented reality, virtual reality is just the beginning. There's a lot more coming.
Definitely, definitely. We're looking into mixed reality next, so the mixture of both. That's the next big thing. So then you can still interact with them, but also they can go virtual, use the headsets and use virtual reality, but also mixed reality gives that augmented reality feel as well. So there's so much out there, it just doesn't stop.
Absolutely. It's the future. There is still a gap, a big gap between the knowledge and the use of immersive technologies. So what do you think are the main challenges for schools to bring such innovative technologies like augmented or virtual reality and use it for educational purposes as part of the curriculum?
I think one of the main, sometimes we find a barrier is also the learning of how to use these technologies. So there will be training involved, but also how it fits into curriculums as well. Because obviously when you're using this technology, how does it fit into what they're teaching, what the students are learning? Because sometimes what you'll find is when you use certain bits of technology, so say for example augmented reality, they might be for a specific thing or specific subject. Is there something that covers a wide range of subjects for people to use, and also a wide range of topics as well? If it covers just one area, then once you've done that, it just gets put away. So you need to have something that's quite wide range, that can be used for a whole variety of things, a whole variety of subjects, and teachers having the necessary training on how to use them, but also resources as well. Planning resources. Obviously, sometimes teachers don't have that time to plan the lessons, so having some sort of idea of what they can do in their lesson will benefit them as well.
Yes, and in regards to lesson planning, I did have a chat with a couple of other educators. Question was to them, would teachers actually prefer to have ready-to-use lesson plans, or due to lack of time, they just need augmented reality resources and they can just give it to the kids and just set certain objectives and just have a general ideas of how it can be implemented. What is your opinion? What would fit your school better?
Yeah, ready-to-use resources do benefit teachers because they can take the ready-to-use resources, but they can also adapt them. So giving them the ability to adapt that resource to cater towards their class is really good, but also gives them an idea of how they can use that resource. Nothing stopping teachers from creating their own resources based on that, but having a starting point, especially when you're using it for the first time, is something that is beneficial, that will work out for many teachers. I mean, I've used many resources, many new products before, and I'm going, okay, I need to use this. I need to find out how I can use this. Let's see a lesson plan and try and follow that. And then afterwards I might adapt it, and then later on, once I'm more confident in using that resource, I will create my own resources and for that to support those new materials.
Absolutely, because there are now preset scenarios available with augmented reality, but there are also applications and resources where you can create your own augmented reality experience. So what do you think for the kids, for example, for primary and secondary school, which resources would be more useful for the younger kids, and when would be the point where you would say that, okay, now we'll try to bring the augmented reality applications where you can create your own?
I think for me, with the younger ones, you start off introducing them to the augmented reality, how to use it, how it works, let them understand what it is. So using pre-made and predefined resources and using them when it gets to the point where the students are older. So for example, my Year 9 students, they create their own virtual reality worlds. They do that sort of stuff where they feel that they're more comfortable and confident in doing that, whereas younger ones, they need to be trained and built up. So gradually throughout their education, they'll get to the point where they are confident. They've used it so much that they know how to use it, and then it comes on to them creating their own augmented reality worlds and augmented reality applications.
Okay, so something that they're absorbing at the beginning in early years and then gradually building to the point where they have their own ideas and they can implement it technically.
Yeah, and you'll have those like few students who are really advanced, and you give them that chance to do that earlier on. There are students who are really like have high ability in the use of computing and programming, that they want to go on to do those sort of things. I have many students like that, and they go, well, I'm not going to stop you and hold you back. Try and do this, try and do that, and then if you want to try and program, like, I like programming, I love it, and it's like, go ahead. You give them a task, they go off and do it, and then they come back and say, I've done it. And these are young children. That shouldn't stop them. So it can vary with ages, and obviously when they get older, but then you have those rare sparks who want to just try new things, and you just like go ahead and do it, and they love to just try it, and they have that sense of achievement of actually getting something and doing it. So it's really good.
So it's still about personalized learning and adjusting kids' different levels of how they absorb information. In terms of just in general your school being open to resources, what is the most memorable part that you remember from the kids? How did they react?
They were when I introduced the whole, I did a whole augmented reality session with them, and so I'm going to do a special lesson with them, and then they all came in, and they were just, if you saw their faces, I've got videos of it, and they're just like, they were so excited. You just leave this, I left the papers on the table, I did all the stuff, I put t-shirts, all the things, and they were running around, they were just trying all these different things, they were so excited, and you could talk about what they learned, they can remember it. They can remember everything that they learned because it's so engaging. So they got their interest, and they can come back, and you just say, what did you learn? Oh, I did this, and I did that, I did that bodies. And the maths, and we did the shapes, and we did that in 3D. And it's that immersion of that enjoyment there. They are, once they enjoy, and if they enjoy something a lot, then they actually take it in a lot more. They soak up that information, not realizing that they're actually learning. So they just enjoy something, they just think they're just doing a simple playing around and something like that, but actually they are learning. So it's that engagement
Okay, so basically the augmented reality technology does improve retaining information.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's different. It's like I said before, it's a different approach to learning. It's a different new technology. It's not, like I said, teacher talking and them just watching the teacher. They could actually be just learning. They could say, for example, the teachers create an augmented reality version of their head, and they can watch the teacher talking in front of them, their head hovering on the table, and they can be watching the teacher, and then they'll just be engaging it because they'll be so fascinated by the technology that it's being used that they take it in more. They do a different thing where they're using the iPad, and they're looking and seeing different parts of Africa, and they're seeing the terrain, and they're all seeing different parts of it, and then just engaging in that, or look at shapes or the body and different things. It's just different approaches that they haven't experienced yet, and it's an innovative approach as well.
And many teachers and educators talk about the measured results from use of augmented reality. Have you done anything to, in a sense, prove that augmented reality does increase the learning level?
Not really at the moment. I think for us it's just trying to find the resources at the moment and making sure that they are in place. So this year is more about the introduction and discovery of new technologies. And then next year it's more about putting them in place and embedding them within the curriculum to the point where we can start improving the learning. So say, for example, we got VR headsets, and a lot of teachers have been trialing that this year and seeing where they can fit it in and getting some suggestions and some ideas and putting them into place. And then so next year it's more embedded within their curriculum. So this year is more of a discovery and introduction year, whereas next year we were looking at assessment and embedding what effect it has. So we have, like I said, we've introduced it. We've seen what the effects are at the moment from like the student's perception of it, the enjoyment, and so forth. Now it's putting that, embedding it in, and actually looking at that, doing the research, and supporting that with data, actual data, and seeing, comparing that. So we can compare it from this year to next year and see the difference.
That sounds interesting. I guess there is a need, because it's such a new technology, and there is a need to understand exactly how it improves learning and what are the aspects that mostly influencing the kids. I would also like to understand what would you suggest to teachers who are in your position, for example, or just general classroom teachers who just found out about augmented reality technology and they're trying to use. What would be your suggestion where to start?
Forums, and because the way I was doing it, I was going on tech websites and finding out new things. Twitter's good, we can always share things and gain some ideas. So I'd meet with a lot of tech teachers who are very interested in virtual reality. We've got one over here in one of the other schools. He does a lot of, he runs CPD and virtual reality, so people can log in VR and he actually runs it. So you don't even move out of the classroom, you just put your headset on and you're there. So it's just doing research, typing in, searching the internet, getting in contact with people who are willing to share ideas and what they're doing, which is really good. And also, a lot of people do contact you with ideas as well and new technology, and for me, not be afraid to try out new things and see if it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But there's no harm in trying something out, something new. If it benefits the classroom, that's great. Then get more of it.
Yes, sounds fantastic. David, is there anything else you would like to cover in this interview series?
Like I said, it's still a new technology, especially augmented reality. It's still a new technology in schools because a lot of people don't use it. They're not tapping into it. Because, like you mentioned before, some teachers are maybe apprehensive about it. They might not see the technological benefits of it, but I can see it growing in the next few years, becoming something very popular. Because it's like I said, it's still in infancy. There's not a lot out there, but there is a lot coming. So I would say to a lot of people, be patient, because education is quite an untapped sector, where if you want to get somebody immersed into your technology, the best place to go is in education, because you get the students while they're young, they learn this technology and they'll use technology for years to come.
Absolutely. It's the future, isn't it?
Yes, it's the future, definitely.
David, thank you very much for being our guest today. It's been a pleasure having you around, and thank you very much for sharing your opinion.
That's all right.
Everything changes.